Hello, House of Reviews here, ready for today's review. Answer fan request. And let's get started with Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker. Now, I've reviewed a number of Batman films throughout my time. In fact, last year I even reviewed Mask of the Phantasm, which I really did about, I forget how many months, but it was maybe 8, 9 months before the death of Kevin Conroy. And I was a bit surprised. I guess you're wondering why I'm not reviewing Mr. Batman and Mr. Freeze Sub-Zero first. Well, under normal circumstances, I would do that, but I think with fans, I can just do this and go ahead because there's not really much I can say that references both, that connects between both films. Even with same thing with Mask of Phantasm, because this movie, while technically part of of the '90s animated series continuity, follows a different sort of show. You see, in the early 2000s, I think there was a new show set far in the future called Batman Beyond, which focused on a new Batman, Terry McGinnis, I think it is. Pretty sure it was Terry McGinnis. Yeah, yeah. And he became Batman following Bruce Wayne's retirement uh, of old age, and is now the new Batman. Now, I've never seen Batman Beyond, and I mean, I do know a bit about it. I know it's got its fans, but I don't know. I never really saw it, and uh, maybe one day. But with that said, I have seen Return of the Joker for various reasons. I think for movies I can just jump in and enjoy it. And look, whether or not I need an explanation as to how how what goes on in the show with this, I I can't say. But yeah, I will continue on. So the premise is as you think, the return of the Joker, who has been declared dead for I would say about 20 years, give or take, maybe I think 20 years. I'll have to double check. Along with a group, and he's accompanied by a gang of other um, Jokers, to assist to assist him. It's well, I'm pretty sure that the Joker's gang was in the show, but I forget. As I said, I never watched it. This obviously causes conflict with of course, with Bruce Wayne, still voiced by the late Kevin Conroy, though he's now an old man, and he blocks Terry from investigating, declaring he must take a look at his belief, as he's unsure how the has come back to life. The Joker obviously, but of course, obviously due to his old age, Bruce gets seriously injured, and Barbara Gordon, who's now commissioner, fallen back, or who's now taken up her late father's role as commissioner of Gotham City, tells Terry what exactly happened with the death of the Joker. In what is often seen as the most famous part of this movie, and uh, what Batman fans consider perfect, which I'm just going to say this whole flashback story, is fantastic, which details how the Joker died, where after capturing Tim Drake, the former Robin, he he and Harley Quinn tortured him you know and did horrific and psychologically damage him to become a twisted younger version of the Joker himself, basically turning him into the Joker's son. Batman, oh, but he tries to make him kill Batman, well, after revealing all his secrets to the Joker. And in the end, Tim Drake, despite everything that he's been through, manages enough courage to shoot the Joker in cold blood, with one of his trick flag guns. Yeah, that whole storyline is fantastic. I recommend watching the Nostalgia Critics video as to why that whole flashback story is so fantastic. It's up the card's up in the description. Take a look at it. After learning what exactly happened, Terry resolves to find out how exactly the Joker has returned, what his motives are, and whether this connects back to Tim Drake, who's now retired and has a family. But you don't really see much in this movie. So, okay, taking out the Death of the Joker segment aside, what else works in this? Well, again, the animation. Now, this is a different sort of style of animation. It's more resemblant to the new Batman Adventures, which was which was the last season of the original continuity for the return before the Beyond series began. But it still works pretty well. I mean, it's a lot more. It's a lot. Uh, I would say it's like in the Far series, it was more red sky. This one has more black and blue, I believe, but it still looks fine enough. You still can tell you're in the same continuity as the previous Batman shows. You and of course the voice cast is still good, even though he's now Bruce Wayne's now an old man. Kevin Conroy, he was fantastic as this older Bruce Wayne. I still consider him the best Bruce Wayne of all time, Batman or not. He is fantastic, and it's a shame that he's no longer with us. Now, now I will say this with Terry McGinnis's actor, I'll just check who it was again. Dean Stockwell, if I'm correct. Yeah, I don't know much of what he's in, honestly, in terms of his other work. He passed away in 2021. Actually, no, that's not. No, actually, sorry, I got that wrong. That's someone else. Dean Stockwell played Robin. Tim Drake, that is, but older Tim Drake, that is. But in terms of here's the actor, William Friedle. That's it. Yeah, he's been in a few things I remember. I mean, Ron Stockwell from Kim Possible, I remember. Well, he was in another Batman show as Blue Beetle in The Brave and the Bold. He's the voice of Bumblebee in the Transformers series and Star Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy Disney TV series. So he's been in a lot. I don't really view him as he's all right, but I don't know. I've never really been a huge fan of Terry McGinnis of what I have seen. He because I'm more maybe it's because I don't focus on the future Batman lines, but like storylines with him. But I can't really say I'm that big of a fan of Terry. I will admit I do like his back suit. It's pretty good. Mark Hamill returns obviously as the Joker. Now I should mention when it comes to the show, what I do know is obviously being set in the future. Not every Batman villain that Bruce Wayne faced returned for the series. In fact, the only ones I know who returned were Mr. Freeze, Ra's al Ghul, and Talia al Ghul, and Bane. No one else returned. So the Joker's obviously back, and Mark Hamill. Well, what can you say? He is the Joker. I really do enjoy him. He's fantastic. Going back to Tim Drake for a sec, when he is brainwashed as in that in the Death of the Joker segment as the Joker's son, that's Andrea Romano who was the voice cast director for the animated series doing doing Drake's laughter, which is actually kind of a neat little voice cameo. I like that. But other than that, I also like the older Barbara Gordon, the person who plays Barbara Gordon as an old woman. She did a good job too. I'll just check who that was again. Angie Harmon. Yeah, that's it. Tara Strong did return to voice Barbara in the Return of the Joker segment though. So yeah. But let's get on to as much as those things work, it's not a perfect film. It is problematic. In fact, the main plot, I don't know, I'm not really a big fan of it. It's fine, but very confusing. It's just very strange as to how the Joker's come back. Yeah, that's the other thing. How he has come back from the dead. Obviously, this does connect to Tim Drake, but it's not handled that well as to how it could work because it's also revealed that Harley Quinn's still alive, even though she was presumed dead in that flashback. We find that out at the end, but even then, I don't. It appears that she isn't involved in any case because she's technically reformed after that whole ordeal and being alone for all those years. I don't know. I have to look more into it. Bruce's actions when he bans Terry from going any further after the Joker makes his return is I don't know, very, I don't know. I know Bruce is very stubborn, and Bruce Wayne was always very stubborn, and would refuse, would often tell people not to get in a way of certain things that he deems he has to handle himself. But come on, you're an old man. You shouldn't be doing stuff like this, especially when you know how he retired as Batman in the Beyond series. It just doesn't seem right. Also, while his name dropped in the flashback around that he officially left to go to Bloodhaven to become to protect Bloodhaven, I would have preferred to see Dick Grayson appear in it, even just a bit as Nightwing. I mean, yes, he would be an old man too at this point, but at the very least, maybe I don't know, Terry could have called him to keep an eye on Bruce, help Barbara look after Bruce while he's you know investigating the Joker's return, or even get some advice from him. Well, I don't know, watch over Tim if he views that Tim's in danger. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't really think he could. It would have been good to bring him in, but it's just a suggestion. Because I don't really think he was in in the Beyond series as well. I'll have to check that. But with that said, Till the Joker is fine, but I'm not. Again, it's not really my thing. And to be fair, not a lot of people view this movie as perfect. If anything, it's got good things in it, but this isn't on par with what the creators of this Batman continuity have done before. Maybe even since. I mean, and again, look, I haven't seen the Batman Beyond TV series, so I can't give too much of an opinion on whether this follows up anything from the show, but I'm just judging as a casual movie fan. It's not my favorite Batman story, and not even my favorite DC anime movie. This isn't a Mask of the Phantasm. This isn't Sub-Zero. One day, and I will one day review that one. But yeah, I didn't. It's fine, just nothing special. It's a 6 out of 10 has stars from me with this. But as for the return of the the death of the Joker segment, that's a 10 out of 10. Yeah, it's strange. One segment get alone gets 10 out of 10, but the rest of the film gets six. The whole film entirely gets six. But that's the way it works at times. You can never guess what you're going to get with things. And that's what I get here. So what's next? Honestly, I'm not sure, but I think it's time I finally get some video game reviews for a bit before. Well, I mean, there could be other things that could show up in as well for reviews, or in terms of movies and that, and you know, you never know what I can get to. But I want to get some. I want to at least try and get a video game review uh, done, shall I say, before I review Across the Spider Verse, which will be next month. For an effect, Indiana Jones 5 and the Dial of Destiny is another one too. But that'll be at the end of June. Maybe even do a review actually on maybe the first on the first days of July actually, considering it comes out that last week. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that. In the meantime, this is Hazard from Hazard Reviews Out, and I shall see you for my next video. Ciao.